These mini Australian Labradoodle puppies are 4 weeks old. We're already halfway through our time with us. And in today's video, we're going to give you an update on their weights, tell you a little bit about what adventures they've been up to this past week, and we're going to talk about vaccinations, immunity, and titer testing. Hi, I'm Claire from Australian Labradoodles, and these are Belle's beautiful petite Labradoodle puppies from our Confetti Sprinkles litter. These guys are incredible. They're little and they fool you because when you look at them, you don't think that they're already 4 weeks old. And then you see them bombing around and playing and just having a great time, and you remember, oh yeah, they're already halfway to their going home day, which is great for our families and sad for us. But it is a milestone week. And as you can see, the puppies are really a lot more coordinated and active. And you can see Mama Belle realizes that they are a little bit more athletic now, and she can just spread herself out comfortably and say, here's the milk bar, kids, go at it. Belle is an incredibly sensitive, attentive, and caring mom. She wouldn't have dreamed of doing this in the beginning days because she knew her puppies would not have been able to climb this milk bar to get there. But now she knows that they're fine, they're thriving, and it's time to actually begin the weaning process. Now, Belle is still giving them all of their nourishment. They've seen a bowl of solid food. They looked at it, they walked through it, they sat in it, they rolled in it, and they licked a little bit of it off of one another and themselves and said, oh yeah, yep, no, not interested. This puppy here, green collar boy, is chewing on my finger right now. His teeth have not come through yet. He still just has his nubs. But in a week, these teeth will be through, whereas pink collar girl's teeth are already through. So we want to wait until we have a little bit more teeth coming out before we really get serious about weaning them. And Belle will agree with that. And Belle's really going to be our guide here. Again, this is what where we base all of our decisions off of the puppy's natural behavior. We let the puppies tell us and Mama Belle tell us when it's time to really work on moving them away from mom and onto solids. But a week from now, when they turn 5 weeks old, they will be eating on their own, and Belle will be sleeping with us rather than with them during the night. And she won't be in here as much during the day. She'll be in and out. She'll come in, she'll feed them, check on them, play with them, and then she'll leave and be out within the main part of the house with us. And that's part of the whole weaning process. So all of the mums, except for Orca, will be with us. So Orca will be going home this weekend. Her puppies are 6 weeks old, so she is done with weaning them, and she's enjoying playing with them, but she'll be going home. But Noisette and Nabachi and Belle will all have their puppies at the age when it's time to begin that weaning and start coming to sleep with us. So now that Belle's out of the nest there, you can see everybody a little bit more clearly. So you can watch them throughout the video now, and you'll see that they're playing with one another, they're moving around, they're interested in their toys now, they're starting to interact with them, they're doing a little bit of tug with them and a little bit of chewing on them, and really starting to become more like puppies, if you will. Now, one of the things that happens when we have puppies is, of course, they get vaccinated. Now, all of our Australian Labradoodle puppies are vaccinated for the first time before they go home to you. And we do that vaccination usually on the Tuesday before they go home to you, as close to 8 weeks as possible. Pardon me. And so why do we do this at 8 weeks? So puppies, when they're born, the first thing that they consume is mom's milk. And for the first 36 hours of their lives, they are able to process the colostrum that's in that milk. And the colostrum is full of maternal antibodies. Whatever Belle is immune to, the puppies will also gain immunity to through that colostrum. That's why it's really important that the puppies are nursing within that first 36-hour period. So what happens if you don't have a mom? What if mom can't nurse the puppies? You can see blue color there. He's trying to initiate play with Belle, waving his paws at her. What if mom can't nurse her puppies for some reason, or if mom happens to die? What do we do then? So there's all sorts of ways to get colostrum into your puppy. It comes in a frozen format. It comes in a powdered, freeze-dried format, so that they do have access to it. And if you happen to be lucky and have another nursing mom, they can go and have that milk. Lots of people think that the colostrum is only in the milk for the first 36 hours, but that's not the case. It's just the puppies cannot digest it and don't get the benefit out of it after they're been around for 36 hours. So these maternal antibodies protect the puppies. That's what's protecting them right now. It doesn't protect them against, say, a bacterial infection. Now, our moms go outside. We live on a rural location. We have rabbits, we have deer. It's very possible for our moms to go and either consume some rabbit poop, step in it, who knows what. Rabbit poop very often has coccidia in it. It's a parasite. And coccidia for adult dogs is of no consequence whatsoever. A good 30 to 40% of all dogs are carrying coccidia at all times. When you're a little tiny infant like this, coccidia can be fatal. But it's also extraordinarily easy to treat. You just have to be aware as a breeder when it's happening. And it's easy to spot. The puppies will become lethargic, they'll have diarrhea, and believe me, coccidia has its own very particular odor. Before you even notice that a puppy is lethargic, you'll smell the coccidia and you'll recognize that you need to get about treating your puppy right away. Sometimes they'll try really hard to die, it'll really impact them. Other times it will be fairly minor. You can see there that Blue and Belle are just having a really great time, whereas Pink and Red over here are having a set to with one another and biting my hand in the middle there. So this is what I'm talking about, with lots of play going on and lots of interaction that you didn't see even last week with the puppies. Belle says, well, enough of that, I'm going over here. So coccidia is a parasite. It is not something that you get immunity to from mom. What mom gives you immunity to is things like parvo, distemper. Those are the things that we're talking about here. So how long do these maternal antibodies last? Well, they actually last for 18 weeks. And ideally, we would not vaccinate our puppies again until they're 18 weeks old. But that's not how North American culture has evolved in terms of what the general accepted practice is for vaccinations. In Scandinavian countries, they don't vaccinate until their puppies are 18 weeks old. And the reason for not doing it before they're 18 weeks old is because you have the maternal antibodies, you have the vaccine, and basically all they do is cancel one another out. So essentially, when you give your puppy their first set of shots, they've lost all of their immunity. When they get their second set of shots, they start to build some immunity back from that shot. The third set of shots ends up completing the chain and giving them full titers. So it's a little bit backward in North America, but that's just the way that we have done things. Then the other thing is that we're going to talk about here is titer testing. And what on earth is that? So titer testing is just a simple blood draw. It takes about 5 minutes. A vet tech can do it. And then that blood sample is sent off to a lab on the mainland that's called True North. If you live in Alberta or if you live in Ontario, your titer testing will be done in a different lab. But basically, it's just to look at the slide and of the blood sample and see if the titers are present to provide your dog with immunity from parvo and distemper. If they're immune to parvo and distemper, their immunity is good for everything other than rabies. Rabies is a completely different topic, and we'll touch on that in a minute. So what we have you do and what's in your purchase contract is we get you to go and have your dog's immunity tested when they're 20 weeks. Now, a lot of vets are going to say to you, oh, no, you do that when they're a year old. But the reason why we do it at 20 weeks is your last set of shots will be done when your puppy is 16, 17 weeks old. And then you want to give it a couple of weeks for that vaccination to be absorbed into their system and not provide you with a false positive result. So that's why we wait till 20 weeks. But we also need to ensure that the vaccine has actually worked, because sometimes the maternal antibodies are so strong that vaccine number 1, nope. Vaccine number 2, nope. And vaccine number 3, none of them penetrate the maternal antibodies that are present. But each set of vaccinations weakens those maternal antibodies to the point that by the third ones, your dog will have little to no immunity. So that's why we want to check and make sure that those maternal antibodies were not fighting the whole time with the vaccinations and leaving your puppy without protection. Because you don't want to be walking around thinking your puppy's fully protected only to find out that, oops, they actually weren't. So that's why we have you do them at 20 weeks. After that, you only need to test once every 3 years. And I can tell you, in all of the decades since titer testing has been available, I've never once had a dog that needed to have a booster shot, ever. The vaccines are rated for 3 years, but they're far more potent than that. They're very robust. Your dog should have full immunity for the rest of their lives. But you're still going to go and test their immunity every 3 years to be sure. So what about when your puppies don't have that immunity? How do we take them out and about? What do we do with them? How do we protect them from things like parvo and distemper? So that is a matter of using common sense. We can't have our puppies in a bubble. We can't protect them from every threat that there is. We can protect them from not being socialized properly. That's something that is within our control. And to be socialized properly, they do need to be able to get out and about. So what we need to do here is use our common sense. The first place we're going to avoid is a dog park. Dog parks are never safe for dogs. I don't ever recommend anybody take their dog to a dog park. Dog parks are for people who are too lazy to take their dog somewhere. They don't take them for a proper walk. They don't take them for a proper run. They don't give them any mental enrichment. They go to a small enclosed area with a bunch of dogs they don't know. They have no idea what's going to happen. They expose their puppy to tremendous risk, and they sit on a bench and look at their phone. That's not good for the dog. It's not good for the person. Dog parks are full of unknowns, not just in terms of health, but also you have no idea how those dogs are going to behave. They may not have any control over their behavior, and they may be the type of dog who is very unhappy and chooses to attack other dogs seemingly out of the blue. So avoid dog parks, shelters, grooming parlors, boarding kennels, daycares, all those places where there's a large congregation of dogs that you don't know and they're all going to the washroom, then you want to avoid that. All of these diseases are transmitted through feces. So when you're out with your dog, you want to avoid anywhere where there's a large number of unknown dogs. And you want to particularly avoid things like pet rest areas. So if you're traveling on the ferry, if you live on the Lower Mainland and you're coming from Vancouver, Surrey, Kelowna to pick up your puppy and you're traveling back on the BC ferry, you do not want to take your puppy to the pet room, and you do not want to use the pet relief area. That's trouble. So what you're going to do instead is you're going to take your pee pads from your puppy starter kit. You're going to put those in the back of your SUV or just out on the tarmac in the parking lot and have your puppy go to the bathroom there. If your puppy's been in Head Start, they're going to know to go to the bathroom on the pee pad. That's not going to be any issue. That way you know they're safe. Now, when you're out for a walk in your neighborhood, or if you're going to puppy class or whatever you're doing, you want to keep a close eye out to make sure they're not walking in feces. Now, you can't always see that. They might do it and you might not know. So the other thing that helps is, again, from your puppy starter kit, you use the wipes that come with that. They're specially designed for puppies. They're compostable, but they're also potent enough that if you wipe your puppy's paws off with that, it really helps. Does it eliminate parvo and distemper? No, nothing does. But it really helps just to get that initial bit of wiping off done, so that if they choose to lick their feet afterwards, it's at least diluted. The other thing is parvo and distemper is pretty much eradicated in most areas of North America due to just the herd immunity we have, because most dogs are vaccinated. And that means that the likelihood of your puppy running into parvo or distemper is quite small. And that's why it's safe enough to take your puppy outside. Usually, if there is an outbreak of parvo, vets immediately post. It'll be on social media. Your friends will know. We will know. We will certainly post it in the community group. So it's not likely that you're going to run into that one dog who's probably come from outside of the country. Generally, this comes from rescue organizations who bring in sick dogs, which is why we have so many more rules now about dogs coming in to either Canada or the US. That's usually where it comes from. So I do strongly recommend, if you have a friend who has a rescue dog from another country, avoid any interaction with that dog. That is the most likely place you're going to pick something up. Brucellosis is another problem that tends to come with dogs from foreign countries. Most people never test their dog for brucellosis. As breeders, we do, because it can be transmitted sexually as well as through the urine and the feces. But most likely, most people would never dream of checking their dog for brucellosis. So if they're not doing a brucella test, you have no idea. So anybody who has a dog from another country, you should be avoiding. Otherwise, if it's friends and family who have a dog, make sure, of course, that they're vaccinated. But more importantly, touch base with them about where has that dog been lately. Does that dog go to daycare? Then you want to avoid that dog. Was that dog just at the grooming parlor? You want to avoid that dog. And the number one place where there's issue is the vet clinic, of course, because that's where sick dogs go. So if somebody's dog was just at the vet, you want to avoid the vet. Now, when you take your puppy, obviously to get their shots, you have to take them to the vet clinic. So what do? So again, what you're going to do is you're going to take your puppy blanket. All puppies, whether you have the puppy starter kit or not, come with a custom Canadian-made puppy blanket. You're going to take that blanket, you're going to put it in your crate from your puppy starter kit, and your puppy's feet are never going to touch the floor at the vet, and they're never going to touch the examination table. When you get your puppy in, you can put your crate on the floor, then you're going to take your puppy out, hold them, spread the blanket out on the examination table, or carry the blanket separately and have a different bedding in. You can use your crate mat in the crate. Put your puppy down on there. And make sure, if they happen to have a very large examination table, that your puppy's not walking all over the place. The other tip, before you go to the vet for any reason, before your puppy has immunity, before you walk in those doors, simply call in and say, hey, I'm here with Rover, just checking, has there been anybody with any contagious disease in today? Because you also want to avoid kennel cough. That's not going to harm your puppy irreparably, but it's a pain to go through, and the younger your puppy, the lower number of defenses they have in their immune system to ward off something like kennel cough. I do that when I go, because I don't expect the front desk staff, who are always very busy, to remember that, oh, there's Claire, and that puppy she's got with her today is only 15 weeks old. Holy cow, I better phone her and tell her that so-and-so was in with kennel cough. They're not going to remember all that. So it's up to me to remember, phone ahead, do a double check, and then off we go. Now my vet clinic is very accustomed to me coming in with my own blanket and not letting my dog's feet touch on the floor there. Even when it's not a puppy, because we have puppies in the house, when we take our dogs, we take our own blanket for them so that we're avoiding that transmission as much as possible. So those are your tips, and you can go wherever you want in your neighborhood. Again, just checking, making sure before you have a play date with another dog that they haven't been to any of those danger zones, to a dog park or anything like that. If you are in the lower mainland, if you're in Calgary, if you're in the Okanagan, or you're on Vancouver Island, there'll be a play group set up. In Richmond, there's a play group set up. There are Van Isle Doodle play groups set up all over the place. Those dogs, you know, are perfectly safe. Just again, do that double check though in case they've been to the groomer, and then you can go ahead and arrange a play date. Ideally, you're going to find someone within your own litter, but we have puppies similar size, similar age, in Bocce's litter and in Noisette's litter. Out of all of those puppies, you're sure to find somebody who's pretty close by that you can do a play date with. Now's a great time to post on the family community page and say, hey, I'm Sue. I've got a puppy coming from the Confetti Sprinkles litter. Who lives near me? I live in. Who wants to set up a play date? That's part of the reason we have the community group there, is so you can set those play dates up. And that is the way to integrate your puppies successfully with other puppies and people. Safe, secure, but still strangers to them in a way that allows them to develop their socialization skills. So now let's go and check and see who's the biggest puppy, who's the smallest puppy, where their weights are at, and also have any of them hit that 1 kilogram mark, or is there anyone still under the 1 kilogram mark? So we're going to do them in birth order as always. And firstborn in this litter is Mr. Blue Collar here. They're all kind of conked out because they were nursing. You can see where Mama Belle's doing. She's like, oh, hallelujah. Doodle Mama Claire's in here. She's got my babies. I'm going to put my head on this toy pillow and I'm just going to take a break from my puppies. She's such a good mom. So here we are with Blue Collar Boy. This is our pretty little reddish caramel boy. He's a cute little guy. He's a feisty guy. He likes to play. His coat looks like it's not going to change color too much, maybe lighten a little bit as he gets older. Sweet and handsome fellow. And this little guy is 1.16 kilograms. So he is doing really well, and obviously he's broken that 1 kilogram mark. Next after him we have Pink Collar Girl. And Pink Collar Girl is over here with her friends. Hey, hi. How you doing? How are you? You're Mr. Green. This is Pink Collar Girl over here. I was going to wake her up and say, hey, can we have a little chat? Pink Collar Girl is a caramel party. She's got lots of beautiful markings. You can see them all down her back there, really pretty. And she's got that adorable half mustache, which is just the cutest thing in the world. I love it when the puppies that are parties get a half stash going. She's got some of her coat lifting now. So you can see that right around her ruff there. This is what brings all of the beautiful fullness and fluffiness of an ALD coat in. Oh, Belle says, I better check it out. Mommy's picking the puppies up just in case she doesn't know what she's doing yet. She's only been doing it for 43 years. She might get it wrong today. So this is where we start to see their coats come and start to give you that big, full teddy bear look, which is so cute. Miss Pink is the smallest puppy in the litter. She has not quite made it to 1 kilogram. She is 980 grams. She's a little cutie pie. She may be small, but she has a big personality. Next we have Red Collar Girl. And this is Red Collar Girl here, I believe. Have I got the right puppy? Yep, I do. Red Collar Girl is a golden caramel. And I think when I pull her fur back, I can see a bit of lightening. So I don't think she'll stay quite this color. You can see on the side some white that's coming in. She has white on her chest here too. So she's not a party, but she's an abstract. And she's got a really pretty little face. She's a feisty little girl. She and Pink play together a lot. And Miss Red Collar Girl is 1.6 kilograms, and she is the biggest puppy in the litter. So we get the biggest puppy playing with the littlest puppy, but they are really good friends. They tend to sleep together a lot as well. Well, thank you, Belle. Belle's giving me a toe wash. Then we've got Green Collar Boy. Green Collar Boy was the smallest puppy for a while. And that's why I always say, just because they start off as the smallest, don't expect that they're always going to stay that way. Blue Collar's trying to hold his head up there, but I think he's going to fall down when he really gets sleepy. Green Collar Boy is a caramel extreme party, and the difference between him and Pink Collar Girl is he has less of the caramel on the back. He's got this mark down here, but otherwise he has more white on his body. And if you'll remember, when he was first born, we couldn't see any color around his eyes and hardly any on his ears. But now you can see he's got that adorable one eye that is caramel with caramel eyelashes. The other eye doesn't have any color around it, and he has white eyelashes. Dottie has this. We have a couple of puppies with this. I just think it is the cutest thing when they have two different colors of eyelashes. It just makes that little patch stick out so much, just like a little pirate, right? Are you a little pirate? Mr. Green is a gentle, quiet, retiring boy. Just the sweetest little angel, at least for now, right, buddy? Yeah. And Mr. Green is 1.4 kilograms. So he's really moved up in the pack there in terms of his ranking of his weight. And then last but not least, we have Black Collar. And Black Collar is right over here looking at me. Black Collar has some additional coloring today because she has a little bit of pumpkin stuck on the top of her head. Black Collar is a hefty, solid girl. She's 1.35 kilograms. To me, she feels much heavier than Red Collar Girl, a much more solid.
0.6.
Oh, that's why. See, Reynolds telling me I read it wrong. She is not 1.6, she is 1.06.
And the other is 1.04.
And green is 0.4. So black is the biggest. My hands were not deceiving me because she's hefty. She's got a lot of weight behind her. Now she is an extreme party, even though she does have these two spots here, and she actually has two spots over here. Actually, she has three spots of color over here, but I would say, no, she has four. Every time I look at her, she has more spots. She still has more white on her body than color, and so for that reason, that's why we call it an extreme. And then she too, when she was first born, her eyes both look all completely white, and now she's got that beautiful dark, looks like she has a gorgeous high-end makeup job done. I think she must have just been to Sephora and gotten a makeover, because they're very beautiful. Yes, very beautiful girl. And then up on the top of her head, she also has a smudge of caramel, and these two dots over here, this is pumpkin from her food. These are not caramel spots. She's got some white through her ears, which is really pretty, makes them even prettier than just the plain caramel. So you are the biggest girl at 1.35 kilograms. You're a hulky girl. So that's all the puppies, their weights. We really hope you enjoyed the video. We'd love it if you could take a moment and have some comments for us. The more comments we get, the better it is for us. It really helps us with YouTube's algorithm. They show the video to more people, which really helps us, and we really enjoy talking to you. More than anything, I use it as an excuse so you'll talk to me. I love to answer your questions. Please, if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. And Blue Collar is really doing the high pillow thing here. He seems to, I don't know, if you think that would really be uncomfortable on your neck. If I slept like that, I'd have to go to the chiropractor, but apparently he's flexible enough. Must be because I'm too old and not flexible anymore. So we hope that you'll take a moment to comment. If not, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe. We've got 3 litters who are all born within 4 days of each other. So in each litter, when we're doing our updates, we pick a different topic to talk about. So particularly if you're getting a puppy, I would really recommend you watch the updates for all 3 litters. Go back and watch the kaleidoscope updates as well, and so you make sure you have all that knowledge that you need to help you have a wonderful, successful time when you bring your Van Isle Doodle puppy home in just a few weeks' time. Thanks so much for watching. I know. I knew you were to be.